Eric, here we are,
Yeah,
woven together in this moment,
absolutely.
connecting our lives to other people's lives as the Grand Weaver might have designed.
Yes,
For this
absolutely.
special moment, man. Hey, it's good to be with you.
Yeah.
What we would love to do with our time together is to explore a little bit, man. We want to hear the story. Where did this all begin? Why are
Yeah.
we even here? What inspired you? How did that intersect with my life and what God has been doing since the beginning of time?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So it actually started in this room. Well, maybe way before this room, but there was a Thursday night this spring, and I had one of these moments where God impressed upon me that I needed to go pray. And you know, I have my morning prayer time and things, but this was different. This was definitely no. I need you right now to go and pray. And so
Early in the morning.
late at
You were
night.
woken. Okay.
No,
Okay.
This time was late at night. Actually, not late at night. It was about 9.
Okay.
And so my little secret quiet space is actually across this room over here. And so I just said to my wife, "Hey, I gotta go pray."
Yeah.
And so I went and I sat in my chair, and God met me in that place in a way that was beyond what is normally happened for me. And he says to me very clearly, "Eric, I know you want to help all of these people on your prayer list. There are people that are in financial hardships. There's people that need healing.
Yeah.
There's all of these things." And he says, "But it's my promise and it's my provision." And in the gentlest way, he was correcting me because I wanted to do these things for people out of my strength because I love them. But he was reminding me that it wasn't mine to do. My role was to intercede. And so he said, I need you to pray for people right now and intercede. And so I had this experience where God was giving me through the Spirit the words to pray over people. And so for an hour I was crying out and I was pleading on behalf of people for bondage to be broken. And in particular, this young woman who was wondering whether God would hear her cries.
Yeah.
I remember praying out loud, "God, I know you hear every whisper. And so let her know tonight that you hear her and that you see her." And it turns out, just fast forwarding a little bit on that one, that my wife works with this young woman's mom.
Sure. Yeah.
And the report we got the next day was that night, perhaps even during the time we were praying, God answered that prayer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let that young woman know that he heard her through a healing of her husband. And so it's like, okay, something's different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how this thing started. Was there's this sort of hour-long experience to wrap that experience up. I felt this compulsion, a good compulsion,
Yep.
to pray for my wife. And so I started praying for my wife here, and God very specifically says, "No, I need you to get up and go and lay next to your wife and pray over her. Don't sit here."
Yeah.
And so I went and I laid next to my wife and I prayed over her. And so that was this Thursday night experience with God. And I was kind of blown away by it and I was moved. And so that was what kind of started this whole thing off.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
the next morning,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's when things started to get real.
Yeah.
So the part you're probably remembering is like, okay, so 4:30 the next morning, Friday, God wakes me up, and in the same way, he's like, "Eric, I need you to do the math."
Yeah. Yeah.
Do the math? I didn't know what that meant. So I'm like, "Oh, okay, do the math." And he's like, I got the answer for you. It's $1 million. And I'm like, okay. And so he says, "Well, Eric, you want to write checks for $1 million to help all of these nonprofit ministries that you have a heart for, that I've given you a heart for.
Yeah.
And you don't have $1 million.
Yep.
Agreed.
Me
So
either.
he's like,
Me either.
so agree. So he's like, do the math. And so he kind of calls me out on that. "Hey, I know you want to help all these ministries, and I appreciate your heart on that, but it's my promise and it's my provision for these ministries."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Okay, I hear you." And he says, "So I need you to help these ministries." I'm like, "What are you talking about? I've been doing this for 5 years. I've been trying to help."
Don't have the money.
Yeah. I'm like, you need to help walk alongside these ministries." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Lord, I've been trying to do this for 5 years. How am I supposed to do that?" He's like, and I need you to go tell their story and help them out. I'm like, how am I supposed to do that?
Yep.
And then he does you need to start a podcast. I'm like, podcast? Playoffs.
Right, yeah. Playoffs?
So now, it's 4:30, by the way, it's 4:30 on Friday morning. And if
Yeah.
anybody knows me, that's clearly a God thing, because I'm not getting up at
That's
4:30
that's
for
not
anything.
your time.
No,
to be
not
at
my
your
time at all.
Sweet spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here I am at 4:30 in the morning, and God's like, do some math. Can't do that. Hey, I need you to go and help these ministries. I'm protesting already, going, Laura, I've been trying.
Yeah.
I've been trying for 5 years.
Yeah.
I heard in 2019, went to a Chris Tomlin concert out at Red Rocks, and he shares a story of angel armies and this thing that God impressed upon him to start to really around foster care and these types of things. And so I heard about this organization called Care Portal.
Yeah.
And I came back to Minnesota and I
Yeah,
wanted to get
yeah.
it started.
Yeah.
We didn't fill the first Care Portal request until the fall of 2022.
Talk about what that is really quickly. What does Care Portal
Yeah,
do?
good question. Yeah, so Care Portal is an example of ministry where they actually have a platform that connects the needs. So the community service people or social services can publish a need for a family, whether it's foster a family or, hey, grandma's taking the kids for a while, they need some mattresses. And they can publish these needs on this portal where churches can actually fill the needs. So it's connecting the church with the needs in the community. And I love that vision.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want that to happen here in Minnesota. So, but it took over 3 years.
Yeah.
Right. And so, okay. And so that's where I'm going, God, I've been trying. I've been walking alongside Care Portal.
We had that conversation at one point
Yeah.
to try to figure out how you were going to bring this back after you had that experience, right?
Yeah. And so I'm leaning in and all that. And so I'm a little spicy and I'm protesting because it's 4:30, maybe it's 4:45 by this time in the morning. I'm like, God, what do you want me to do? Fine. Like, I'll do it, but what do you want me to do? And he says, start a podcast, right? Start a podcast. And I remember specifically saying to the owner of our company, JJ, he's hosted over 200 podcasts himself.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to him one time, like, I can't even think about what I would talk about for 200 episodes.
Yeah.
And here God lands this thing on my lap. So I'm kind of wrestling with it. And God's reminding me, he's like, well, remember, you're actually going to be on somebody else's podcast this afternoon. Yeah, I know that. Well, so you know how this works.
Yeah.
Wait, the guy who owns your company, he has a podcast. He knows how this works. Yeah, okay, I get it. Hey, you got a studio in your basement. I think you can handle this.
Yeah.
So he's giving me all the things, right? So I'm still protesting. I'm like, okay, but who's supposed to be on this podcast?
Sure. Yeah.
So then he starts to write this down. Oh, okay. So I start 5:00 in the morning, or whatever. I'm typing
on your
down.
phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like write down. So I'm listing off Care Portal and Chosen Care and Global Seed Planners and a couple Ukrainian ministries, all these things where God's just reminding me of all these ministries I already know and love or have some relationship with. And he's like, there's like 20. I don't know exactly what the number is, but it's like 20.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's cool. I could reach out to these people. And then my next protest was, who's ever going to tune into this podcast? Like, nobody knows who this Eric guy is, right? Okay. And then he says, Eric, I need you to write this down. Okay. So he starts listing off Northwestern Media and KTIS. And he says Converge, Bethel, C12, which is a peer advisory group that I'm part of.
Yeah.
And he says National Christian Foundation. I'm like, okay, I know who those guys are, but I don't have a relationship with them. He says pray.com. He said, don't forget, you met Steve from pray.com in Nashville. Write down pray.com. So he tells me all these organizations, right? And then, okay, so I write them down. Then he says, reach out to them all. Send them an email. I'm like,
just cold call, cold connect.
Okay, so at 5:00 in the morning on Friday, I'm sending emails out to people.
From your phone, at your prayer spot.
Yeah. Okay. So just like, okay, so that's kind of how the whole thing started on this Friday morning, and I'm like, not really expecting a lot out of that, right? So that's this Friday experience that I have, and I'm just kind of unpacking it all. Well, then Saturday comes. 4:30 in the morning.
Again.
God starts, all right, are you ready for this download? And I'm like, 4:30, I'm flipping and flopping, and I'm like, okay, there's no way I'm getting back to sleep. I'm going to go out and watch Sports Center. Because that's kind of what I do if I can't sleep, right? I was going to actually sit right here and watch Sports Center. God's like, no, I'm not done talking to you. Oh. So I lay back down in my bed, and all right, what do you have for me? you need to call this the Grand Weaver.
Mm.
The Grand Weaver?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, didn't Ravi Zacharias write a book
Yeah,
called The Grand
yeah.
Weaver?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't think Ravi's super popular at the
Yeah,
moment.
yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
like, Lord, is that really what you want me to call this thing?
Mm.
You're to call it the Grand Weaver. Okay.
Yeah.
You can go out now to the living room and grab your laptop and register to thegrandweaver.com and grandweaver.show. Okay, so I come out here.
Yeah.
5 o'clock in the morning, dust sleep off my eyes,
Uh-huh.
register some domain names. So that's Saturday.
Yeah.
Right? Sunday morning, he wakes me up. All right. Gives me a different assignment. He says, hey, there's these 3 young people at your church. I need you to go talk to each of these 3. And I need you to ask them these questions and speak this into their life.
Yeah.
Like, I've never, people ask me, like, as I share this story,
Yeah.
is this how your life? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
God's
So
not like,
you don't
this
get
is what
these downloads normally
it's like-
from God.
So
on
I'm
a-
just like, okay, I mean, it was that clear that I knew I just needed to do it, right?
Well, you
So-
talked before about like distinct hearing of direction
Yeah.
in these days and in
Yeah.
these late nights, early mornings. This was a way that you had never heard God speak to you before.
Not with this level of specificity,
Yeah.
right? There's times when you're like, okay, I'm pretty sure you're telling me this thing, but this was no doubt in my mind.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is what I'm to do.
Yeah, yeah,
and that has never happened before.
Yeah. Okay.
So Sunday happens. I go and I talk to these 3 young people. Monday happens. Wakes me up at 4:30. Hey, I need you on some assignment. Okay, so Monday.
Yeah.
What happened Monday?
Yeah. So Monday, I had been gifted with the opportunity of speaking in chapel at Bethel about the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah.
And one of the things I wanted to ensure that I focused my energy on in delivering that kind of message to the students was that God's will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm trying to figure out, what does that mean for my life while I'm stepping up in front of this group of students, trying to encourage them to do something that maybe I haven't always been attuned to.
Yeah.
And so I'm speaking in chapel, and
Yeah.
you were there.
Yeah, I was.
You were there.
And why was I there? Because my daughter Elise was like, hey, you know Ron Franklin, right? Yeah. Oh, he's speaking in chapel in like 3 weeks. And for 3 weeks, she's like, hey, you coming to chapel? You coming to chapel? Yeah, okay, I'll come to chapel. So I was at chapel Monday morning.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you crush chapel, share your heart. Afterwards, we just see each other. We hadn't seen each other for a while.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then we what? Grab some time on
We
the
grabbed
calendar.
some time. We just set a date. It was a Friday
Yeah.
that we wanted to see each other again, right?
Yeah.
To just sit down and get connected, find out what it is that God had been saying to us,
Yeah.
but not knowing anything about the ways in which God had been speaking
Exactly.
to one another.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's Monday. Okay,
Yep.
so we get to Tuesday, right? So Monday, I'm also sharing with JJ, the owner guy, like, hey, this podcast thing, he and I start framing up some, what do you know about your podcast? What should I be thinking about this one? Because it seems like this is a thing I'm supposed to do. And I'm not really saying him at the point, like, God told me to start a podcast.
Yep.
We're kind of easing into this one. And so that's Monday, so we get to Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday, I sync up with a guy I haven't seen in at least 15 years. Right? He lives in South Florida.
Yeah.
Mutual friend connects us. We get on a Zoom call on Tuesday afternoon. He's sharing his story, kind of what God's doing in him, and he's leading this business, and he wants to be really kingdom-minded and these types of things. And he's like, "What are you up to?" And so I shared a little, hey, I'm leading this company and doing these kinds of things. I'm leading worship, doing that. And then I said, just the other day, God told me to start a podcast.
Yeah.
And then he just pauses, and I was thankful we were on a Zoom call because I see his face, and he just pauses and he goes, "What did you say?" I said, God told me to start a podcast. He goes, the other day, God told me that I'm supposed to help somebody with a podcast. And he's like,
Here we go.
yeah, he's like, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
He's like, what?
Yeah.
Help with the podcast? I don't really care about podcasts. I don't know.
Right.
And he's like, the only way I can think I could help is maybe financially. Like,
Sure.
do you need some money? I'm like, I have no
For
idea,
what?
man.
What?
It's
I don't know.
Tuesday.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, it's Tuesday. No, I don't like, let me get back to you. Like,
Yeah.
so that's Tuesday, right? Then we get to Wednesday. So this is like every day at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Consistent.
Yeah. So we get to Wednesday. And Wednesday morning, this is where, like, so far it's easy to obey.
Yeah.
Right? God's telling me to do the things. Hey, that's fun. That's cool. I'll do the thing. It's
Take
not-
some notes,
not
write
really
some
putting that
stuff
out there.
down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Then what does he do Wednesday morning? He goes, wakes me up, and he says, hey, remember when I told you a month ago to take that Beatles canvas print thing down from your office? And I was like, oh, that was you? Right? So like that's more an example of like when God's speaking to me, I'm like, oh, that's a weird, like I remember looking at it and going, that's not supposed to be there. I remember having that thought, but I don't know why I had that thought.
But it's a kind of staple for your background, right? Because that was in the...
Yeah, in my Zoom shots and everything. And so it's just kind of part of my background. And I'm like, well, he says, hey, remember when I told you that that's not supposed to be there? Yeah, I remember having that thought. Oh, that was you? Like, oh, okay. And he says, I need you, and this is where he stretches me. He says, I need you to ask your mother-in-law to make the tapestry that hangs behind you that represents the Grand Weaver. And I'm like, I don't want to do that at all. This woman already thinks
mother-in-law connections. Here we go. God, are you serious right now?
Yeah, like I don't really want to do that at all. But okay, but I heard him. You know, I might have slow played that one a little bit, but I'm like, all right, so that was Wednesday. You know, a few other things happened Wednesday. Then we get to Thursday. Okay. Right? So Thursday morning, he wakes me up, 4:30. Write this down. Okay. So here's all the roles you need on your podcast. Now on Monday, JJ and I were talking about the roles, and I think it was like 4. Okay. And we get to Thursday, and God's like, gives me all these roles. It's like 8.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So I write these roles down. And he says, and here's the names of the people. Okay. Ron Franklin is your co-host. Ron Franklin's my co-host.
Who?
Okay. I'm like, I mean, you know, we're friends, but it's not like we're hanging out all the time, right? We want to, but Ron Franklin's your co-host. Okay, so I write that down. And Tara's your executive director, executive producer, and is just down. Tanya, she's your graphic designer, and Derek's your social guy. And so starts giving me these names of all these people.
And these specific links, right? In terms of their gifts
in that role.
And what the,
yeah. And I'm thinking every one of these people, incredibly talented, equals super busy and overcommitted already. I'm going to go ask each of these people to go do this thing that is completely brand new and like this thing I just heard about a few days ago. And God says, these are the people you're to ask. So Thursday, I start asking a few of them. Each person, Jill, Tara, Jaden, every one of them, their response was, I already know I'm supposed to say yes. I'm like, okay, they went before. Like, okay, this is something interesting. So this is Thursday, and we're going to circle back to Thursday in a second. But it's Thursday at 4:30 in the morning. I'm giving the Ron Franklin name. I haven't talked to Ron Franklin yet, right? And we get to Friday. Okay, so here we are Friday, and I'm on my way to Bethel. And what's interesting is that whole week I'm seeing all this favor. KTIS, Dave St. John, we get to connect. NCF, I hadn't had a connection with. I already am connecting with the NCF team. I'm seeing all of these connections happen in this first week. I don't know about you, but that in my life, that doesn't normally happen, right? So all of a sudden I'm having all these conversations and I'm starting to share this story. And Steve from Pray.com, on Friday, I get a text from him that's like, hey, I'm at the White House, but I'll step out of my meeting so that we can have a call. And I'm like, no, Steve, this isn't...
Not that urgent. You take your time. Take your time.
So I'm like, no, Steve. Like, no. And he replies back like, no, really. Like, let's talk. Like, okay. Like, so Steve and I have a conversation on the way over to Bethel. Where I'm going to go and sit down with you on Friday afternoon. Okay, so from your perspective, on Friday afternoon, I think it's 2:00 in the afternoon or something like that. We sit down and then let's flip it over to you. For a minute.
We jumping back a little bit. There's a couple things that have been happening. So of course I give this message in chapel, and I'm alongside this student. His name is Jamin, and he's on his way to Princeton Theological Seminary. And so he and I had a conversation on stage about what is God's redemptive work in the world, and what does it look like for the kingdom to be on earth as it is? So we had a great conversation, and we invited, of course, everybody to pray the prayer with us and to think about that daily, because it shapes us, it forms us into some people who are about what God wants to be about. And I'm trying to figure out what that means for my life. Since I gave this message now, where do my skills help bring the kingdom on earth as it is in heaven? Couldn't figure that out exactly. I got plenty of things that I get to dabble in terms of my role at Bethel, and it helps me connect all across the university. But what was happening during that week was an opportunity for us to host our fundraising event. Our annual Roar Day is what it's called. And it turned out that they needed a voice for a dub video that would help promote the Giving Day, Roar Day. And so I do that, and it was fairly easy for me. Mm-hmm. I was comfortable in the studio. Yeah. The headset fit great. The script was lovely. Yeah. And we were able to adapt the message and the tone and everything. So it felt really comfortable for me. Yeah. And I'm trying to figure out, because I've heard it before, like, Ron, your voice, I think your voice is for radio. Like, well, we missed that wave because I am not getting on the radio anytime soon.
It's better than face for radio.
It is.
Right?
It is. Yeah. I wish you could see me right now. I was telling Eric this morning, I tried to play basketball and I got my lip busted. So my pretty boy vibe is out the window at this point in time. But to the story, it's like, what is the use of this gift of my voice? Mm-hmm. I sing at church, but the resonance of my voice has no ability to be heard. So my wife even teases me from time to time. She's like, do you sing? I could be singing my heart out, but the resonance of my voice does not catch your ear because it's too... So anyway, I'm trying to figure out, is this... really a gift of mine that I need to be using for God's glory. And so anyway, I get invited to do this Roar Day thing. Yeah. And little did I know that you were being told who could be the co-host, the co-voice alongside you in this process. And I don't want to make more of this than it really is, but this is pretty special. Yeah. I had been awakened during that week, even that Thursday morning, to this random show. So I don't wake up often during the night, but I go downstairs and I turn the TV on to a PBS feature. And on that feature is expert loom manager who's teaching people how classic looms function. Yeah. And I'm trying to figure out, why did I get awakened and decide to go downstairs, not doing things that are other comforts, like to grab one's phone or read or whatever. I go downstairs and I watch this random show, and it was featuring a loom, a weaving of things that I, again, had no idea what it was pointing to.
Yeah. Thursday morning.
The
same morning that God was giving me your name.
Yeah. So pretty special. Yeah. But then Friday, you come to campus. We're hanging out.
Yeah. And so I'm like, all right, God told me I'm supposed to ask Ron to be my co-host. So I started layering in the story a little bit and a little bit of timeline. And then I popped this question like, hey, so Ron, what do you think about maybe being my co-host? And you say?
Almost moved to tears, Eric, right? The nature of the things that had happened for me during that week. Yeah. From chapel to... this invitation to be a part of Roar Day as the dub over voice, and then this waking up and watching this loom. It was like, yes, of course. Yeah.
I remember, if I recall right, what your reaction was. I very rarely say yes to things without knowing all the details and all the plans and how this all going to work, but I already know I'm supposed to say yes. Yeah. And I was like, okay.
That was a special moment, man.
And then finding out about the Thursday morning part was fun too, because I hadn't really shared what the name was going to be. So you're already in, right? You're like, yes, say yes. And by the way, what are we calling this thing? I love it. And I just remember, what are we calling this thing? I'm like, we call it the Grand Weaver. And then you're like, let me tell you about what happened yesterday morning. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, this is, So
that gesture, even I think I slapped the table.
Yeah.
Like this is unreal.
Yeah. So
unreal.
So Friday afternoon, like, okay, this is thinking back to my. Are you sure you want me to call it the Grand Weaver? So we get more confirmation. Okay. So then we get to the weekend, right? We get to Saturday, and I'm thinking about Wednesday when God's like, hey, remember you're supposed to
go ask your mother-in-law? Good friend of yours.
Okay. So I text her on Saturday. They live a couple hours away. I text her and say, hey, I want to talk with you about something, but I want to do it in person. And I'm like, how do I say that in a way that doesn't cause alarm bells or, oh boy, there's some, it's not bad. Yeah. maybe a little strange, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to be in town tomorrow. So she comes by Sunday afternoon, and I start sharing the story. And so I start kind of unpacking this whole story, and and I said, I'm supposed to ask you if you'd make a tapestry that represents the Grand Weaver. And then she starts saying, well, what's this thing supposed to look like? And so backing up, that morning when God was telling me to ask her, he was giving me some instruction. One of the things he said was, hey, remember those 3 colors I told you to write down? So I keep a song lines note in my phone, and I'm like, no, I don't remember what the 3 colors were. So go back and look. Okay, so I scroll back and I find blue, purple, and scarlet. And so that comes from Exodus, and I'm like, okay. So blue, purple, and scarlet, and weaving. And then in another conversation, I don't honestly remember which one it was that week, but he had highlighted to me that this thing is supposed to look unfinished. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means or how it looks, but okay, so it looks like weaving, blue, purple, and scarlet, and looks unfinished.
Yeah.
Right? Now, in full transparency of my own vanity, I have a rug downstairs that I like, that's in my office. And I honestly remember, and I'm a matchy person, so that's kind of the joke in the family. I honestly remember thinking, blue, purple, and scarlet, but Lord, that's not going to match my rug.
That's not the scheme. That's not the scheme.
So it's like, okay, so I remember that thought. I was like, okay, all right. So mother-in-law, I say, okay, so what's this thing supposed to look like? I said, God told me 3 things. Represents weaving, blue, purple, and scarlet, and it's supposed to look unfinished. Within 20 seconds, she pulls out her phone and shows me a quilt pattern, and she goes, you mean like this? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, oh, well, I made that a couple years ago. Like, what? She goes, yeah, you can have it. And, and here's what it looks like.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is it.
And so it turns out a few years prior, it has blue, purple, and scarlet in it, right? So then I go and I hang this thing up when she brings it down to me. And even in the little things, like if there's any question about how God cares about the details, I hang this thing up and I look at it in the room, and I couldn't have imagined this thing or even how blue, purple, and scarlet play out.
Right.
Even if you look at the edges, they're unfinished. It's
That's
like
right.
these angles. In all 4 directions, the weaving is going out.
Yeah.
Right? So, why the Grand Weaver? Because it's God's story. And so here's this tapestry that's already been made. And God's saying, look, what I'm doing is I'm bringing all of these people. The reason we're telling this story here today is because God has already prepared in advance the things that people were doing with their gifts, talents, and abilities in a way that we can't even see.
We never would have seen or imagined. Right?
So here I hang this tapestry up and I'm looking at it, and somehow this completes the room. It actually ties in the guitars and the rugs and all the things. It's the silly little vanity thing that I was thinking God even cares about that. I got all of these things.
Right.
And I was just blown away by that. Right? Just blown away by that.
Wow. God's provision
Yeah.
and God's plan
Yeah.
already playing itself out in really practical ways.
Yeah.
Even to the point of coordinating your room.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So these microphones we're speaking into.
Yeah.
One of the other mornings when God woke me up, one of the things we talked about, JJ and I, was what are some of the practical things about pulling off a podcast?
Right,
A lot of
needed.
the difficulty is the audio and getting the right lighting and those types of things for guests. And so I was thinking logistically about all these things. One of the mornings, God wakes me up and says, you need to, like, as part of this podcast, it's not just creating the platform for these ministries to tell their story. You need to help them
Be
tell
able
their
to
story.
Continue to tell the story.
Continue to tell their story.
Yeah.
So Eric, teach them how to have really good audio and lighting. Not only that, but provide for each of these guests a kit that they can just use. Don't send it around. Gift it to them.
With the $1 million that you have to be able to supply them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect. So the person who on Tuesday said, I want to help with this podcast, when I reconnect with him, I say, hey, God's inviting us to equip all of these ministries to keep telling their story. What is he say? I want to be part of that.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to be part of that.
Yeah.
And he
Seed
was.
planted.
And now we've already gotten the shipment from Sweetwater. Sweetwater, not a commercial for them, but I reach out to my Sweetwater rep. I share a little. He's like, "Why are you asking for a quote for 30 sets of?"
Yeah.
Like And so I share the podcast. We want to be part of that. How can we support it? They've been very generous with us and helping, so we can really expand the dollars. And it's every step of the way God has opened doors and resonated. And we're just getting started. I have no idea where this thing's going to go.
Yep.
And God's teaching us to this: my promise and my provision.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Obedience. Just obey. Like, don't be afraid of your mother. I love my mother.
Yeah.
You know I love you.
Full direct disclaimer.
Yes. I love my mother-in-law. But, you're putting yourself out there a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And you're trying to be vulnerable and share these stories. And so there's this obedience thing. The other thing that was really interesting, a friend of mine was like, this story, you need to write this down because you shouldn't forget any of the details. So I write down all the things, and we're only covering a few. There's so many other things that happened in those few weeks. And I write that all down, and then God says, now you need to write down all the things you were doing while I was doing this. Okay. So because that same week, so we overlay this timeline. Well, that Monday night where you were at chapel was my son Trey's birthday. So we were out for his birthday party. And I had meetings with major universities that week for work, like big presentations and those types of things. On Thursday night, we had a fundraiser for Bethel. So we had this pickleball thing. Saturday night, I was the DJ at the church prom. So God's like, write down all those things because while I was doing all of this, you were doing these other things. Because the important thing was, this is all God's story. There is so little I could make happen in any of this.
Right.
If I spent all of my time and effort and poured everything into that 2 weeks, I could have done maybe 5% of what unfolded in a few weeks' time because it was God. Right. And that's really what he impressed upon me as a teaching was, hey, I just need you to show up. And I need you to follow my lead and only go where I send you. Okay.
Humbling, right?
Yeah. And so that's really my prayer as we go forward with this thing is how do you and I, as we walk through this with our team, go only where God sends us.
Well, talk to us about that a little bit, Eric, because there was in the origins of our connections and recognizing a couple of things, the power of stories and how those stories need to be connected to the supports that could help accelerate the well-being and even the flourishing of both of those groups of people. So these purpose-driven folks who have a ministry or a service to the world with some folks who have the ability to support those services. We were recognizing that perhaps there was a gap.
Absolutely. So what I find often, a few years ago, somebody spoke a word over me saying, hey, Eric, you're going to be in rooms you don't belong in. Okay. And that's become true. In the last few years, I end up finding myself in rooms and places where it's like, how did I even end up in this room? And I'm reminded continually that my only agenda when I'm in these rooms, whatever room I'm in, is to love and to bless. I'm not to try to advance myself or the things that we're tempted to do. Right. And when you switch your agenda a little bit and you're aware that you're supposed to just love and bless, it makes you a much better listener.
Right?
Changes your posture. Because it's not so much about what is Eric going to get out of this relationship, but what is this person? How am I going to love and bless this person? I actually have to know a little bit about them. Well, what's happened from my time in Nashville to Cupertino to other places is you start to see a lot of people who have gone on this journey in life and have arrived at a place and they don't even understand why they're there. Whether they have literally sold their company for $100 million and are feeling no clear sense of purpose, to a ministry who's going, God called me to this thing and it's just not happening. Right. And you see both ends of that spectrum. And then you're reminded that God has been preparing these things for a long time and he knows. He knows the heart of this person who desperately needs somebody to do their marketing for them. Right. Or operationally Care Portal is a great example of an organization. I was trying to help myself, like, okay, how do I help them think through their funding model stuff to unleash some of these things? Well, there's 100 people like me that could help the next Care Portal. Right? And so what I think God's saying is, hey, you two and your team create the platform so that these people can tell their story of what God has impressed on them to the people who are hungering for a sense of purpose. Because there's so many people that want to make a difference. I think we get tied up and we convince ourselves that everybody in the world is just out for themselves and they don't care about anybody else. Now, we see a lot of that. I'm not.
There's a lot of selfishness. This is real.
No doubt.
This is what we do as humans in a number of ways, right?
Yeah. But given the opportunity, given the challenge, being compelled to make a difference in somebody's world, if you resonate with that thing, I think we'll see a lot of people respond.
Right.
And I think those things are varied. If you resonate, there's a man who stayed in Ukraine when he could have left because he's ministering to hundreds of young boys whose dads are off at war. 7 to 14-year-old boys. If you resonate with that story, absolutely. In Albania right now, okay, in the United States, we think so much about like worship styles and whose music and what should we play and all. Like we get caught up in all these nuances. Yet in Albania, 25% of their churches even have worship leaders. They don't have a church history to even debate about.
Right.
Whether it's hymns or modern worship, they don't even have it because they were communist ruled. And so here are ministries that are trying to figure out, how do we worship God as Albanians? Okay, if you resonate with that, I want to connect you with them. Okay, Diane. Okay, if you want to feed people. If you want to feed people, you're gonna love Diane's story because here's this woman and this group of people that are going to the hardest parts of the world and teaching them sustainable farming and mulching. And for $10,000, this is where I was specifically thinking about Diane when God was like, "Hey, this $1 million," because I'm like, wait, for $10,000 you can feed a community sustainably in Uganda. Could I write a check for $100,000 to do 10? No, you don't have you don't even have 100,000, young man. Okay, but are there 20 people, 50, 100, I don't know, that would resonate with feeding people sustainably? Okay, let's have Diane tell her story, and then let's invite people to support Diane directly, because the thing about the agenda to only love and bless, that means for us, just as how this podcast is going to flow, we don't have sponsors, we're not asking for money for ourselves, we're asking for money for other people in a way, right? Like, because in all practicality, hey, if you love Global Seed Planners, if you want to support them financially, this is how you do it with Diane directly. If you are a marketer or an operations person or an accountant, and you want to use your skills to help advance this ministry, then go work with them directly. Right. That's the whole idea.
Eric, that heart, I think it's hard to manage, but at the same time, it's what we are called to. And that's why I was even drawn to being a part of this project, is to say, what does it look like for me, again, to participate in fostering flourishing for all? And for me, the challenge was like, Ron, you can't do everything. You can't be everywhere, helping everybody accomplish the things that God has in store for them. But what might it look like for you to be a bridge? For you to be someone who can help be a part of making connections, helping weave lives together so that the well-being that God has in store for all of creation can be facilitated. And that doesn't mean I have to have my hands in it.
Exactly.
And that's really humbling, even to think about, again, this gift that I've perhaps been given of using a voice and getting, truthfully, inviting people to tell their story. So I have a background in counseling. And so what I love to do is listen to people's stories, and I like to tell people's stories, or more importantly, allow them to tell their own in such a way that it can be beneficial to the world or to others. And so this is
I'm so excited. And for me, my gift is not counseling, and I actually have to guard much more against dominating a conversation or talking too much and not really listening. And so I love that we God even in that is going, hey, let me bring you two together, because Ron has gifting that you don't have. We both have gifts that each other doesn't have, and that's what makes it beautiful. It's so exciting. It's only, like, I look at it as like, only God. The team that we have together is
incredible. It's incredible.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're gonna trust, and I cannot wait to tell the follow-up stories of the impact of how God has woven people's lives together and their stories together. Because ultimately, this is God's story for advancing his kingdom here. That's why we're doing all this stuff, right? And it's great to like have a podcast and thing, but it's not the Rahn and Eric show. No. That's why it's called The Grand Weaver, because it is his story. The other thing that as I was praying about, like the fruit, the fruit that this could bear, is to remind people, because I think there's a lot of people that are going, does God really care about his creation? Is God really active in the world? Because all of the things that we receive, the things that are coming at us, the world that we see is really hard to reconcile, right? Because there's so much hurt and brokenness and loss. And when we are reminded of these stories about how God is active, how he is weaving people's lives together, how he is calling you and I and others to minister to the orphans and the widows and to see those who are unseen. When we are reminded of those stories, we're reminded that God is very, very active and present and loves his sons and his daughters. And if that by itself is the fruit, so important, right? And we get the fact that you and I get to be part of that just blows me away.
What a gift.
Lord, you're going to let, okay.
What a gift. And in some ways, a burden, right? For us to try to figure out, what does it look like to steward this well? And to be honest, Eric, there are lots of ways in which my response to that question will be, I have no idea. But what someone told me when I first came here to the Twin Cities, and should have been 2021, was the necessity of continuing to show up. The person told me, Ron, just keep showing up. Just keep showing up. And so I love to think about what will come from simply staying committed and faithful in such a way. And I can't pull myself from reflecting on the nature of Peter and John when they faced the Sanhedrin, because what they did was connect with people who were in need. There was a man, 40 years, had been sitting by the city gate, and this is after Jesus passed. They wanted to continue in God's redemptive work. And so they healed this man on the side of the road, and the Sanhedrin's like, what are you doing? We just got rid of your leader for doing the same type of stuff. You're next. But what happened is the Holy Spirit came and was present and gave them the words to say. And the boldness is how Scripture speaks about what was given to them and reminded them to keep showing up and just keep being faithful. And so that's what I'm longing for, just in this journey of telling each other stories, getting people who have a passion and a purpose connected with people who are looking to extend their passion and their purpose in a way that maybe they haven't seen before, so that all of creation again is thriving, is flourishing, and is in pursuit of shalom.
So well said. Absolutely. That's our heart.
That's the heart.
That's the heart of the Father. That's the heart he's put in us and is stirring us. And boy, the few ministries that I've had a chance to share this with, all those ones on the list that I had shared this, they're like, I'm in. And what I could see in this idea of loving and blessing people is, I think in a way, in a fairly significant way, they felt supported. We haven't even been on the show. It doesn't even exist yet. And they're going, oh, I just need to feel seen, even in their ministry, because they're on the front lines. They're doing the hard stuff every day, right? And they're showing up every day and wondering, am I eating tomorrow?
Right.
Am I neglecting my family? Am I? And so I think there's just so much fruit that we, and to your point, we need to steward this well, and we need to be faithful. And we, yesterday I was reading in Ezekiel, and the Lord gives this vision to him, right? And these wheels are guided by the Spirit, and they only go the direction the Spirit says, and they only go straight. And then he says, and I will bind you so that you cannot go anywhere but where I tell you, and you cannot speak anything but what I tell you. And those words landed on me, because it's so easy for me to try to put words together and string things together or go places in my own flesh. Right? It's like, no. Father says only only go where I send you to go, and only speak what I tell you to speak to Ezekiel. And I think those words really landed on me as well. And from a stewardship perspective, how do we steward this thing really, really well?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I love it, Eric. I love it. Yeah. And one thing we haven't touched on yet is in a similar way of knowing that the dignity of the people who are in the trenches needed some affirmation and direction, the ability to tell their story and to be seen and be heard and be valued. Yeah. Talk to us about some of those connections that you've made with some folks who have the capacity to lift others up, and what it was like to connect with them, to hear their stories and their longings for what the Lord had in store for them.
Yeah, I think there is genuinely a hungering because, I think we buy into this thing, and the enemy's so good at convincing us that, boy, if you have money, it's great. It's not really the case, right?
Yeah.
There are people that have a ton of means and are just kind of floundering and are, what was this all for? Kind of like, imagine the reading of Ecclesiastes was like, this all just a chasing after the wind,
right?
And they're hungering, and they're longing to make a difference. And so I think we have this tendency to put people in a category that may have means and just assume that they have life together, or they're at peace, and they're struggling in the same ways. They want to be seen.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think what's interesting is when God told me that my only agenda is to love and to bless, it's very interesting when you show up for a person and they're like, wait, you're not asking me for money.
This is different.
Wait, you're not asking me for money. You're not asking me for a job. You're not asking me for a record deal.
Right.
Even in Nashville.
Yeah.
God was revealing to me very clearly that most of us have an agenda, whether we intend to or not. Right. And that is a barrier to relationship. And so I think what I'm seeing here is when I'm sharing the story and inviting people in, they're going, oh, you see me for me. And I'm not asking, God doesn't need your money. Right?
Yeah.
And in fact, it's not even your money.
Right. Yeah.
God, I want cheerful givers. I want people that are going, God light me up here. And I think what I'm seeing is people that are being lit up by a thing that they just didn't know.
Right.
Yeah. Like, wait a minute. And it's going to be different for different people. And that's where, just as, tying, and the reason I started this whole story with this Thursday night experience is God's going, it's my promise and it's my provision, and I'm at work, and some of these things are not meant for you. To do. Yeah. Eric, you want to solve all these things. I didn't have it for you. I had it for this person or that person. I prepared a decade ago for this person to show up here now. Right. Yeah. This skill or these dollars now for that person, not you. Right. And I think just seeing people for who they are and what they bring is very different than what they usually experience. Right. It is, hey, you're a donor and you can help my organization and I need $50,000 from you. Right. No. Hey, you are so-and-so and this is your heart and your passion and what you resonate with and you want to be on mission, but you don't know how. Right. Okay. Yeah. Let's walk alongside together and figure out what that might look like. And watch how God lights that person up in the way that God knows much more than you or I what's going to light somebody up. Yeah. And so as the stewardship, like, okay, who do we bring on this show? Because there's already a list that's longer than a year's worth of podcasts, unless we're cranking them out every week, right? Which we'll figure out. Fast, we'll see how it goes. But really stewarding that as well, and what does that look like? And so I think it's so interesting because I couldn't have imagined this format, right? I couldn't have imagined this structure. I would have not given me. I would have never designed this. So I'm like, podcast? What are you talking about? And then God puts this whole picture together, and then you look at it and you go, oh, that actually makes total sense.
Yeah. And it's almost easier than you could have imagined, right? Because I know for me, Eric, the script, even just to let you all know, when I go speak places, I usually have written down and rehearsed multiple times. So can you imagine when Eric said to me, Ron, the best way to do it is just keep it live and real. What if I say something I shouldn't say or miss a direction in a conversation? And this is where the humility for me starts to come into play. Like, God's got the design already laid out. Yeah. What does it look like for us to just continue to be faithful and continue to show up and follow the direction that we have been set on? Yeah. To be stewards, to be a part of God's weaving.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to see where this thing goes.
Let's go.
So,
Let's go.
So stick around. We're going to have a lot of episodes. Diane, I mentioned her. I think she's going to be one of the first. We're queuing up. We've got some really interesting stories. Chosen Care, they do foster and adoptive, like tele-counseling support.
Yeah.
Love Jenny Lord for her to be on the show. So we got lots of really interesting people, some Ukrainian guests, but just all over the place.
Yeah,
and so
it's going to be beautiful.
Stay tuned.
Beautiful.
I wanted to get this first one
Yep.
captured so we could capture the story.
Yep.
And
here's the rhythm. Just real quickly, what we'll be doing, we'll hop on with some folks. We'll help them tell their story.
Yeah.
That story will be presentable in a number of ways, not only through the podcast and the visuals, but also in ways that folks who would like to support them can find a way to connect directly.
Yeah.
And so once those direct connections happen, our goal is to ensure that there's a follow-up with each episode moving forward so that you all can understand the type of blessing and building of this network and community that's weaving things together to help facilitate the well-being of others in ways that we just get to be stewards of the stories.
Yeah.
And so really excited for y'all to come along for the journey.
So good. So good. All right, brother. Let's do this.
It's a wrap?
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah. I want to tell the world about you and what you're doing here. I want to tell